Hello, everyone. Welcome to Asia Society Hong Kong Center. My name is Joyce. I'm head of gallery and exhibitions here. And today we're really proud to present two contemporary artists who feature as part of our current exhibition on at the Chantal Miller Gallery on site at Asia Society here in Hong Kong. What you're watching now is part of artist to artist cultural exchange session. And this conversation is really to listen straight from the artist's mouth, how it is that they create the artworks that are currently on display. So we have Francesca Bernardini in Italy. Hello, Francesca. And we have Danny Lee in his studio in Hong Kong. Hi, Danny.
Hello.
And Danny Lee 有稱李 Sir 啦，又名係李 Sir 啦，亦都叫做李展輝啦。咁大家可能較為熟悉啦。咁陣間李 Sir 都會係以廣東話做一啲嘅分享嘅。咁我就會嘗試總括老師講嘅説話啦，咁翻譯翻俾個英文嘅觀眾聽嘅。And so without further ado, I would love to hand over the time and space to Francesca for her to share with us a little bit more about how she creates these amazing marble sculptures, the techniques and the inspiration behind what she's made for us this time. So over to you, Francesca.
Hello, this is my sculpture. The name is In My Tree. These sculptures are tribute to the affection of love and the importance of the communication. Each element is like a people, and these elements support the together, and together make a harmony and beautiful element, and the point is a communication. When I finish this sculpture, I send to Hong Kong, and Danny send me our sculpture, his sculpture.
Wow, so beautifully placed on the seaside.
Yes.
These photographs were taken in Italy, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, near your studio or not?
Yes, very near studio. I live in front of the beach, and I prefer make a picture in front of the sea.
But it's interesting, these images kind of play with the scale, because the actual work itself is yes, sort of
about 17 centimeters, but in this case
it looks huge.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And this is the second sculpture.
Yeah. This is for me as the phase, the fuzz, very for me very timidly begin the approach Danny's sculpture, the Whisper of the Hill. I found in it a place where my cocoons found refuge. The cocoons is a symbol of a revolution, of change, inside which there is life. And I make a little paper for check, and after I make the many little cocoon. But for me, it's very not afraid, but very feel very okay. Francesca is very slowly process, because this is another sculpture. The Danny sculpture, me and Danny, we don't know before.
Yeah. you were both strangers before this exhibition concept, and you created the marble pieces in these co-creations, and you were using Danny's piece of wood sculpture to co-create.
Yeah.
And here, what do we see here? It's like a nest of cocoon, marble cocoons.
Yeah, marble cocoon. And this is my studio. And I make maybe 20 pieces. And after I chose just 7 for one part and 3 for another part.
So you used all 20 pieces in the end?
Yeah.
Wait, no.
No,
You didn't. You used half. You used 7 for one side and 3 for the other side of the sculpture. So how did you make that selection, Francesca? So you made more than you needed. So there's a surplus.
Yes, I chose for the shape and for dimension and for linearity and harmony style, because the sculpture of Danny is very simple but very power, and for me is a little afraid, because for me it's better less than more.
Understand. And these pencil markings you have created on the marble cocoons, Francesca, what do they indicate?
The means of the cocoon?
No, what I mean is the markings that we see here. Is that where you mean to carve into it, or what do those pencil markings mean?
I don't understand, sorry.
The lines that you have drawn on the marble cocoons, what do they mean?
Okay, the lines is like a drop, because the cocoon is the drop is the insect when they make a nest. Bring the little element of the natural, and is like a turn in the shape.
Yes.
The line is like a drop.
Yeah, so you're wrapping it around the cocoon shape. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, my English is very...
No, we understand. We'll get there. And so here's the one of the sculptures coming into production and almost completion here. So could you help us explain what's happening on the right-hand side? I see there's a metal piece.
Metal pin. Yeah.
Pin going into the marble.
I make a little hole for with Dremel, and I'm very afraid.
Yeah, of breaking the marble, right?
Yes,
yeah.
Afraid for the Danny sculpture.
Oh, afraid more of damaging the wood.
Yes, because I make the little hole, and I make the glue, a little glue, and I put before with paper and after in the finally with marble.
Okay, so you created a paper dummy of where each marble piece will go first, and then you look at the placement, and then you affix the actual marble piece. You know, in the gallery, we have a lot of visitors who ask how the marble cocoons stay on. And actually, of course, the marble pin is so well hidden that you can't see that there's anything attached to the wood. And so many people know that it cannot be glue. It cannot be glue. And it's true. Now the secret is revealed. There is a metal pin that is turned into the wood to keep it safe. Yeah.
Yes.
And what's here? Is this the paper or the actual marble?
No. This is marble.
This is the marble.
Yeah. I put a little wood because the little cocoon turn. And for fix, I put the scotch, and after 1 day is totally totally good result.
Oh, great. Great.
Yeah, because for the glue is important the time. The glue is the time for the glue is a 24-hour 1 day.
Ah, amazing. And here we have the chosen cocoons, I think all 10 of them lined up. And what process is this? Is this before the metal pins?
Yes, this is before. Yeah, this is before the metal pin, and I use this machine for fix, because the cocoon is very little, and for working is very difficult. And I put here, and after I work in detail. Before I make a shape around, and after I make a details.
Details. Interesting. And here we moved on to the outline of another sculpture, which you've co-created with Danny. And this is the very beginning of one of the earlier works. Could you explain how you came to this sort of shape, Francesca?
Okay. This sculpture, the name is Embrace. On the theme of the dialogue. The vertical elements of the sculpture represents human being of different culture. Move through dialogue, support each other, make a harmonious rhythm, and for me is very important the dialogue for the each person and different culture, and make a very harmony rhythms.
And here's the piece from different angles. So once you have the outline of it, Francesca, how do you decide whether it's vertical or horizontal? Like, you know, on this work table, when you lay it flat, it's also beautiful. So why did you decide to make it stand up like that?
Because for me the vertical position is the position between from the grove up in the sky. The symbol is more strong.
Amazing. And here we see it from different angles, and the base, if you go back, the base as well. So you attach the piece to a separate base, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
With using the same colored marble.
Yes, the same type, the same color. Yes, the same piece of marble. Yeah.
And we come back to the cocoon shape again. So these are two bigger cocoons, not stuck together, but carved together. And how did you come to this shape?
Yes, this sculpture is the name of this sculpture is face to face. Is the for me is two elements are two nests. The nest symbolic container of emotion for me, and this is the encounter with Danny, and finally me and Danny is face to face with my interior and inside and outside emotional.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's the Francesca Danny sculpture. And here it is from a different side as well. It's really interesting because the shape is so playful as well. And what kind, did you use many tools in order to create this rounded shape, Francesca? Or basic handheld tools?
The tools is not many because the sculpture is very little. I use the big grinder with the big disc. In this case, I use the little disc, and after I make the shape. And for modelage, I use the pneumatic hammer for the modelage.
With the larger pieces, yes.
Yeah, with tinsel, with the many tools for the pneumatic hammer.
Yeah. And here are little marble leaves.
Yes.
Made to one of the smaller pieces.
Yeah, very small pieces. Yeah. I wanted to create a landscape that represent the vital communion between distant lines. The marble leaves lay at the foot of the Chinese stone. Metaphorically nourishing this plant is metaphorically this leaves is like a food for this land.
Oh, beautiful. That's a lovely image. Food for the land.
Yeah, food for the land. In
another
this case I write some. I let myself be guided by the lines of the Danish sculpture, and I elaborating a small fragment with similar rhythms. The two elements interact in harmony despite being of different origins. By emulating the importance of understand the others.
So thank you, Francesca, for sharing some of the thoughts behind your part of the creation, especially with your skillful working with marble. And I would love to turn the conversation to Danny so that Danny can share his side of the story, working and crafting in Hong Kong using wood sourced from Hong Kong. So thank you, Francesca, and over to Danny.
Hi，我講，我係咪講話？
係啊，到你講啦。
Hello，係啊，我係叫 Danny，我係李展輝。咁咧就其實我一路做sculpture 咧，已經係一段好長嘅時間，即係有幾十年㗎啦。但係就一路嘅發展咧，我都係以做一啲山水為主題嘅，所以同大自然咧、山水有關嘅，都係我一路做緊嘅作品。咁就今次呢個 fusion 呢個項目咧，其實我開始接受咗去創作開始咧，其實我係最初咧，其實有個刺激啦，有個挑戰喺度嘅，因為從來未試過兩個 artist 去完成好似係一件作品嘅感覺。咁呢個係第一次嘅嘗試，所以我就會考慮好多問題。咁既然係一個 fusion 啦，我哋係來自唔同嘅地方，即係我哋香港同意大利嘅係一個好遠嘅距離，我哋嘅唔同嘅文化、唔同嘅背景。咁我一路諗咧，我究竟點樣去做呢一樣嘢咧？呢個動作咧？咁我係好希望做到我同呢一個未接觸、未認識嘅 artist 咧，就係好似發生咗一 一個故事咁樣，係我哋兩個之間去一個利用我哋嘅作品，純粹係用我哋嘅作品去大家去溝通完成。咁所以我希望好希望有一個咁樣嘅關係咧係產生嘅。咁呢個係由我一路最開始就係咁啦。咁我就由我認識咗Francesca 啦，咁我就好高興嘅，因為我係見到佢嘅作品咧係好靚嘅，佢嘅作品，不論線條啦，成個 form 咧好優美嘅。咁不約而同咧，其實我自己咧都係有咁嘅方向，我係一個比較簡約啲嘅，最後係一個簡約嘅選擇嚟嘅。咁我嘅作品見到出嚟嘅咧，都係一啲好簡單啦。咁我好啦，由呢個開始，因為我哋係用木去做啦。咁木咧，我就會最初咧，本嚟我哋可以去揾一啲唔同嘅木去做我作品嘅。但係最後，因為我自己考慮到我嗰個作品嘅尺寸啦、比例啦，咁我最後翻轉頭咧，就係用翻我自己喺我工作室咧，我係放咗即係好長時間嘅一批木咁去完成嘅，全部都係。
好，咁 Danny 俾我總括下先。
好。
係啦。So Danny has been working as a sculptor for many years and many decades, in fact. And his work has encompassed a great variety of styles and projects. But when he came across Fusion 2 and this exhibition concept, he was very intrigued, and he accepted the challenge, and he found it super intriguing how an artist can co-create on the same piece of artwork together. And having seen Francesca's work before they started creating together, Danny was very drawn towards Francesca's artistic style, form, and lines of her work, which Danny really felt a resonance with, and he knew that he could work together with Francesca and almost go beyond Danny's usual practice of sort of mountain, water, landscape works. So Danny has always had a very not simplistic, but a simple and understated style. And when approaching this exhibition concept, he thought a lot about where to source the wood he would use for each of the artworks. And in the end, he settled on a cachet of wood that he had been storing in his own art studio for many years, and taking that out in order to use towards each of these sculptures here. And the slide we have up now is the source of some of the inspiration that Danny used in order to create the artworks in this exhibition. And I'll let Danny speak more to that. 咁 Danny 唔知可唔可以即係提及到多啲即係呢個太湖石對你嘅藝術作品嘅影響咧？
其實呢個太湖石咧喺中國裏邊咧係一啲我哋係欣賞石嚟嘅，咁佢就係好，即係我哋會係放喺度欣賞啦，放喺度放喺我哋係個空間啦，係一個嗰啲即係將一啲大自然嘅嘢咧攝入咗自己嗰個空間嗰度去慢慢去欣賞。當然啦，呢啲石咧個造型啦，佢嗰啲所有嘅變化咧係好大嘅。咁其實咧喺度咧，我就想順便講一講咧，就係我自己嗰個做作品嗰個方向。西方嘅社會咧，係一個佢哋咧係好容易係將自己咧放咗入去一個大自然嗰度，亦可以講係一個融合咗喺個空間嗰度，喺個大自然同佢哋構成咗一個整體咁樣。佢哋係一個咁樣嘅欣賞角度嘅。咁但係我哋東方人咧，或者我哋中國人咧，係 會將一啲優美嘅環境啦，例如好似啲石啦、小橋流水啦，或者係啲嘅植物啦，我哋係會帶入咗自己個空間嗰度，好似一個庭院啦，一個大嘅花園啦，佢哋會將一啲嘅石啊、樹啊，或者係一啲水啊或者橋啊，咁咧就係會放喺佢自己嘅嗰個空間嗰度，變咗係將一啲嘢咧係收納咗入嚟，自己去欣賞。咁呢個角度咧係東方同西方嘅，我覺得係一個比較大嘅欣賞角度啊。啱啱好係好似大家唔係好同，不過咧大家都係欣賞大自然嘅。咁我自己係一個東方人啦，中國人，咁我就將一啲咁嘅石咧，或者係水咧，我係將變為我自己嘅作品，放咗喺我嘅空間嗰度咧，我慢慢去欣賞。即係所以我就係做石咧同水咧，我自己咧係比較多嘅。呢個係我嘅一個方向。
明白。So Danny is elaborating on how this Taihu stone has served as inspiration to his artistic philosophy for many years. Taihu stone in Chinese art history has always been a decorative object, decorative and perhaps artistic, but how this has informed Danny's artistic direction is important because the concept of the Taihu stone has impacted his artistic direction in a major way. And Danny would like to highlight the fact that from a Western art history perspective, artists, when they enjoy nature, when they want to show their respect for nature, or how they feel in awe of nature's beauty, very often seek to insert themselves into nature itself. So the artist inserts themselves into nature. Whereas from an Eastern art history perspective, and perhaps a more particular Chinese art history perspective, artists or scholars, or the literati, as they were called then, would show their appreciation for nature by bringing the outside in. So there's this interesting dichotomy between exterior and interior spaces, but you show your utmost respect for something naturally beautiful by subsuming it into a domestic space. So this is the importance of the Taihu stone in Danny's artistic life. 好啦，
其實咧，我係好高興咧，由開始啦認識咗Francesca 嘅。咁由我第一件作品咧，我就係用一個人體嘅線條去發展，然後咧我就做咗一個山谷。咁呢個係我第一件作品咧，係做完成咗之後咧，就寄去意大利嗰邊嘅。咁就其實咧，就呢件作品咧就係叫做山中細雨。我嘅意思咧係呢個山谷咧係即係將嗰啲你俾啲聲音佢咧，佢會有一個迴響，好似可以傳到去唔同嘅地方。咁呢個係我第一件作品咧，我當係一個開始。咁就由呢個迴響咧，啲山谷嘅聲音咧就傳咗去，希望喺好遠嘅地方咧，我同另外一個人咧可以有個溝通嘅開始啦。咁樣咁其實咧就一路做落去咧，我都係成件事咧，我每一件作品做咧，其實我係喺個思考嗰度咧，係用我比較多時間嘅。就我點樣同呢個 artist 佢嘅作品係有個故事，或者係大家喺度好似喺度傾緊偈咁樣。咁呢個係我嘅一個諗法。咁然後跟住咧，我收到Francesca 嘅第一件作品咧，咁我一睇，我已經係即刻刺激到我，因為佢係用 marble 用石去做咗一啲樹木，咁我咁啱我就用木去做石，咁我覺得咧啱啱好咧，呢個係物料嘅 大家一個轉移我用木去做石，佢就用石去做樹木，咁然後我哋放埋一齊咧，我哋互相咧就製造咗一個庭院。咁呢件作品我自己都好中意嘅。
So Danny has enjoyed working with Francesca from the very start, and with each of the sculptures, co-creations were clearly very carefully considered. And with the two of the larger pieces that we have seen in the slides, Danny drew inspiration from the outline of the natural human form. So you can see in the woodwork that it does follow that sort of beautiful line and shape. And in another piece, Danny really enjoyed creating a valley-like shape with the very poetic thought that there could be an echo effect that mimics nature's own effect in nature in a natural way. And the idea behind that is he hopes that the work that they co-create together has that resonance and that reverb, and that the echoes sort of echo throughout the world of their co-creations. So thanks, Danny. And these are images from Danny's studio space in Hong Kong.
其實跟住咧，因為我由開始已經諗咧係我點樣係同呢個成件事嘅 fusion 呢個項目咧，我點樣去同對方係好正式咁樣，或者係好爭取好多機會咧，我哋喺作品上面嘅溝通咧咁其實跟住落嚟咧，我哋做咗每4件，我哋叫做part 2啦 ，fusion 第2步啦，咁就會做4件作品。4件作品雖然唔係好大，但係其實每一件作品咧，我哋會用好多時間去諗下，我哋點樣去變為一個作品，但係又有意思嘅。咁譬如好似而家喺個畫面度呢件咧，其實我覺得係 Francesca 咧，佢係令我有個驚喜嘅，就係佢見到我呢件用木去做嘅石嘅太湖石咧，佢就做咗一片好似泥土咁樣，然後有幾片葉咧跌咗喺度，咁旁邊咧我嘅有件石咧放咗喺度，咁剛好咧其實呢個亦都係一個環境，好似一個裝置咁樣，亦都係一個園林嘅景色一樣。我感覺咧，我同 Francesca 咧，好似大家有心靈相通咁樣。咁好啦，最後我而家再講多一件咧，其實就係呢個喺左邊嗰件，就係 face to face。我收到之後咧，其實我已經係感覺到佢同我係講緊嘢。咁於是我咧就係用木去做咗一扇窗，呢扇窗咧就係好似我嘅心窗咁樣，我就會伏喺呢個窗度咧，喺度睇住幾時我呢個我叫做一個拍檔啦嘅老朋友啦，幾時出現咧？咁到最後咧就係我哋 face to face 去接觸到啦，係最後喺展覽嗰度咧。我哋係一個接觸，咁呢一個接觸，我自己感覺咧有啲好特別，或者係有啲好微妙嘅關係喺度，就係我哋卒之係可以面對面正式咁樣去認識。咁我覺得我作為呢一個 fusion 呢個 project 咧，由開始嘅山中細雨去到呢一個咧，係我覺得係一個比較圓滿嘅，我等到佢嘅出現，呢個係我好高興嘅。
Thanks, Danny. So Danny here was explaining the process of creating the 4 more compact pieces that were specially commissioned for this exhibition here at Asia Society. And the 4 pieces, including the encounter, which you see up on the screen right now, really cemented the working relationship between Danny and Francesca. So Danny had no doubt from the beginning that he would work well with Francesca, but this was already in the 2nd year of their collaboration. And after creating the 2 bigger pieces, these 4 smaller pieces allowed them room for experimentation. And the two pieces that both artists would like to highlight is this piece here, Encounter, originally called Face to Face. And Danny was explaining how after seeing Francesca's cocoon shapes, the first thing that came to mind was to create a wooden window frame by which he could sort of lean on, the faces could lean on, and he could, as an artist, he could also think about and muse about the day in which they would both be able to truly meet face to face in real life. Because prior to this exhibition opening in March of 2023 here in Hong Kong, neither Francesca nor Danny had ever met before. It was really communicating through art. And in the process of creating these 4 smaller sculptures, Danny could also feel that in terms of their artistic communication, they had really become one. And they were on, not only were they on the same, wavelength, they were also really thinking so alike that it was really an enjoyable process in creating these sculptures. So onwards.
呢個咧，其實呢件作品咧，我都係好喜歡嘅，即係仍然係啊 Francesca 咧，佢係做咗一啲我當係一個樹林咁樣啦個感覺。咁我咧就係、我行咗入去，我將我自己咧係入咗去佢個空間，放低咗一啲小石頭喺個地下，我係將呢個記憶咧係留低咗喺我哋嘅空間。咁另外咧，我都想講一講咧，就係、成個展覽最後咧，我哋喺好幸運喺Asian Society 呢個 gallery 咧可以展出。我哋從未試過，其實我哋講咗好多次，我哋今次香港5個 artist 咧，從未試過 set up 係可以咁快嘅，因為同埋係主辦單位啦，Nicholas 同埋Cynthia 咧，我哋一齊去做咗，喺度 set up 咗成差唔多5日6日啦。但係一個咁靚嘅環境，我哋係好 enjoy 嘅，完全好開心可以喺度完成咗成個展覽。
Yeah, and here you see some images that of the setup, and Danny is saying how even in the installation process, which is usually very laborious, the fact that it was taking place at Asia Society in such surroundings made it a much bigger relief and actually a truly very enjoyable. And it was a surprisingly smooth process considering all the different artworks and sculptures we had to handle. And here you see Nicola from the Arcade Foundation in Italy, Danny and another artist, Ho Yun Leung, towards the front of the picture during installation. And for something of this scale, we all together, with the artists and with Asia Society's curatorial team, we actually set it up in record time. And it's just such, these are days that are really precious memories for everyone involved in this project. And we're all really glad that it came together this way. Yeah. So thank you, Danny. And I think we are now going into the question and answer session, of which there are very many interesting thoughts and ideas from members of the audience who have tuned in to listen to this conversation. And the first question is for Francesca. So, gracias, Francesca, maybe a Spanish speaker writing in. The question is, do you find live cocoons to make your sculptures more realistic?
Yes, I found my first cocoon in the nature. Is the spider nest.
A spider's nest.
Yeah, spider. Yeah, the nest for spider is very similar of my sculpture, and then I I make the symbolic cocoon.
Interesting.
But for me, it's not really important the realistic imagine, but the concept inside the cocoon is life is gone on. The life is change, the evolution. It's like a human body inside the in the end, in the heart, we change a lot.
That's true. So I think it's a very philosophical thing that that the cocoon is alive, but then beneath the surface, there's a lot of evolution already happening that is not clear or visible in the exterior. So perhaps that's why, Francesca, you tend to go back towards this cocoon shape often as inspiration. And related to the cocoon shape, Francesca, another member of the audience would like to ask, how does Francesca make the marble in the encounter piece hollow? So in the encounter, you have a little hole in it. Yeah. So how do you make that?
Difficult to explaining, but I bring the piece of marble, and before I drawing the shape, and with the diamond disc, I cutting the square, and after with another tools, pneumatic hammer, I make a shape around, and for the hole I use the another tools is like a Dremel, similar Dremel.
Very interesting. We've got some very attentive members of the audience, so thank you for your question. And the next question is for Danny. So the attendee is saying, thank you for this great series. It's true, this is our very last Artist to Artist Zoom. We've done 4 sessions in the past 4 weeks, and we're ending with the last but not least of Francesca and Danny's conversation. So thank you for acknowledging and noticing us. And the question is, Danny, since you take inspiration from Chinese ink paintings and landscapes, do you follow certain painters?
你係講問我？
係啊，即係你有冇有邊幾個特別喜歡嘅中國國畫大師，你係會跟嘅，或者會去 reference 嘅？
其實我咧就冇話特別去跟邊個，但係我自己其實我自己都好中意中國嘅水墨畫嘅。其實翻轉頭啦，其實我自己物料咧，我唔會話將佢分咗係水墨啦，定係oil 啦，或者係 acrylic 啦咁樣。咁其實畫咧，我只係當一個欣賞角度，我係會只要佢係好咧，我都會中意嘅。即係如果你話畫咁樣，齊白石嗰啲啦，我中意當然我睇佢，我中意嘅咩？我中意啲最簡單嗰啲。咁就，但係你叫我講一個兩個出嚟咧，就反而我係未必咁樣去講。我會係整體，譬如八大山人啊，咁我全部都會睇嘅。但係我唔會係睇一個，即係我會咁樣去睇，咁樣去講好啲。
明白。 So thanks for the question from the member of the audience. Danny views Chinese paintings as a whole, as a genre. There's not sort of one or two artists he would single out as a constant source of inspiration, but of course he notices the works of the great masters, for example, Qi Baishi and Ba Da Shan Ren. But they are not the only sources of inspiration, nor would he mark them out as particular to his work. It's more that Chinese paintings and landscape paintings are a regular source of visuals that he will refer to. So thank you for that. And someone would like to know, Danny, what are some of your future projects?
你講我有啲
係
咩？
係啊，做完呢個展覽之後有啲乜嘢？
做完呢個展覽，其實而家做緊一個係同地鐵嘅一個項目。
哦，
係
期
地
待期
鐵。
待。
咁其實另外一個，我覺得係更加重要啲嘅係，我希望係出年年尾嘅另外一個展覽。反而呢啲係我自己會係會放得重一啲，係即係做自己作品。我講係下一個展覽咧，我希望係做得更好嘅。
So Danny does have projects in the pipeline. So after the closure of this particular Fusion 2 exhibition at Asia Society Hong Kong Center, Danny will be collaborating with the Hong Kong's Mass Transit Railway, MTR, which will very likely be a public commission. So we very much look forward to that installation. Danny, thank you for sharing that tidbit with us. And onwards, Danny will also be involved in another exhibition towards the end of next year, which will require a lot of quiet contemplation and working towards. So we've got lots to look forward to from Danny.
Thank you.
And question for Francesca now. Hello, Francesca. What was the first nature object that you took inspiration from?
The first is when I was younger, very young. I lived in Sardinia. Sardinia island of Italy, and when my father fishing, me go in the sea with the mask and observe the natural from the abyss. This is my first inspiration.
Thank you so much.
Like a shell or plant or little animals or anemone. I don't know in English. Anemone is like
it's the same word. Yeah.
Yeah. This is my first inspiration.
Thank you. I love that image of Francesca sort of snorkeling, sort of
yes.
in the water, looking at things.
Yeah, I have a very big bag of memory about my yeah.
Do you still live in Sardinia, Francesca?
11 years, 0 from 0 years to 11 years. Yeah.
Very, very.
Sardinia is for natural is a very big inspiration.
Understood. So everyone seeking inspiration can learn from Francesca and go to Sardinia for your taste of it. And another observation from a member of the audience is, I have also seen Danny's sculptures at the airport. And I suppose this means the Hong Kong International Airport. And the question is, does Danny prefer working with metal or wood?
Metal. 其實咧， 如果講翻係一啲嘅放喺 public 嘅地方咧，木咧係唔容易嘅，因為佢係長期咧係唔係咁容易處理咯。其實我好多年前咧喺我第一次同香港嘅國際機場咧去做我作品嗰陣，佢哋同我傾咗，其實好簡單。佢話有一樣嘢唔可以用嘅，就係燒得着嘅嘢唔得。木咧，佢哋唔係咁容易接受。
Interesting. 有今日又學到啲嘢啦。So,
係。
for the person asking the question about Danny's preference, clearly the artist has just stated that if push comes to shove and he had to choose, he would choose metal over wood. And that is possibly because Danny has for many years worked for site-specific outdoor installations. But even if it's not outdoors, even if it is indoors, for example, at the Hong Kong International Airport, even in an interior space, metal sculptures, metal objects are easier to handle and easier to find acceptance. And in the airport's case, this is specifically because they cannot accept things that have the chance of being flammable. And wood clearly is tinder. So it would not even be considered. So therefore, Danny's fallback is still as a medium. So thank you. And we have a feedback and a question from our lovely docent, voluntary docent Ken Yong at Asia Society. He would like to say thank you very much. The visitors love your work very much. And here they find a very beautiful mini world of nature. So what you have both conveyed is really coming through to the audience. And I imagine that to be, so lovely to hear. And the question is, members of the public, the general public, have actually asked us, how do the two artists enjoy and observe nature in daily life? Do you do gardening? Do you travel a lot? Francesca?
Yes, I travel and I go very often in the bush, in the garden, in the sea. I love natural.
Danny, 你有冇你中唔中意種植物啊，或者去旅行啊？你點樣去感受呢個大自然咧？你會唔會係一個秘密嘅行山發燒友咧？
又唔係嚇，我係中意睇佢嗰個植物咧，係我中意睇佢嗰種自然嘅生態，同埋嗰個生長嘅過程，係我都幾留意嘅。咁就我中意去，當然你話去旅行咁樣啦，旅行我咩都睇嘅。另外就係我自己，其實就係我將人啦、物啦，或者係城市啦所見到嘅嘢咧，我係將佢喺我個腦度咧可以轉化咗，就好似係山水咁樣。我係會將佢兩面融合埋一齊，真嘅又可，即係自然嘅，同埋係唔自然嘅。我哋點樣去睇佢咧？我都係當睇風景咁樣睇。
Okay, so from Danny's perspective, he doesn't feel he has any particular hobbies that would draw him out to nature. Instead, it's more that Danny is a keen observer of the world around him, and that includes urban spaces, city life, as well as nature. And what he's interested in is the evolution, the change, the change between humans, between plants, and just everything that naturally occurs around him. So I hope that answers your question. And from someone else, another anonymous attendee Hello, Francesca. Did you discover any new creatures or insects while you were in Hong Kong? Please come back soon. So did you discover any new insects while you were here?
Yes, I hope come back very soon. For me, is a very interesting experience, very emotional experience. Very. I feel very good in Hong Kong.
Yeah, it was very emotional for all of us, I think. Yeah. But not everyone has seen you sing karaoke like me. And another question for Francesca. Would you consider making extremely large scale versions of your cocoons?
Yes, I do. I creating one big sculpture in Taiwan in 10 years ago. I make a cocoon in 3 meters and now stay in the big garden in Taipei. And another one to 2012 in Portugal. And another one in basalto, diabase, is like a granite in Germany.
Great, that's good to hear. And everyone listening can go visit those places to see Francesca's work in the wild. And another few questions about material here. So for both artists, what is the orange stone used in the work with the marble leaves?
Sorry?
What is the orange stone used in the sculpture with the marble leaves?
I use the statuario marble. I born in Carrara. I live in Carrara. Carrara is a capital of marble, and we have the special marble for sculpture. Is a very good quality, and the crystal is very thin, and you make everything. Is like a little piece and big sculpture. I use normally marble from Carrara, but in other place I use the Vietnam marble, Chinese marble, or granite for Norway, or I like marble.
I can feel it. And saving one of the last questions for Danny. So the comment and question is, hello, Danny, your work is quite poetic. Do you read poems often?
其實我自己係好多時咧係同件作品咧好似即係好似唔係好容易形容啊！我係好似同佢有個關係咁樣嘅同埋我會將好投入自己想緊嗰個思考嘅問題咧，或者係我對佢個感覺點樣咧，我係會投入咗喺件作品嗰度，所以我會有一個，我希望係有一個，因為好簡單啦，同埋有個形態啦，我所以有個好似有個希望有啲詩意啲啦，有意思啲啦，件作品。
So in answer to that question, it's difficult to put in words, as Danny says, but when he's working on an artwork, he really does feel like he is speaking with the artwork. He is in some way communicating with it. So it's not so much reading poetry and thinking about being poetic, but when he's really channeling all his energy and focus into creating, he really feels in some ways the piece is speaking to him as well. So perhaps that is the effect of the sculpture becoming very poetic in itself. So A bonus question is, dear artists, for both of you, if you could make another sculpture for the Asia Society Hong Kong Center, where will you take inspiration from and what would you create? And does an immediate shape come to mind?
Maybe we will see, but maybe another tree.
Another exhibition. We will see. We will see.
Yeah, we will see. Yeah.
But something that is definitely happening sort of before this this exhibition ends is that Asia Society's team will be bringing interested guests and members of the audience in this Zoom session to visit Danny's studio in Hong Kong. And that will be taking place on Thursday, June 1st, which is next week. So if you happen to be in Hong Kong and you're interested in meeting Danny, the artist, right here in front of us, please don't be afraid to get in touch. Write in, email us, and we will try and make it happen and include you in on that as well. Otherwise, the amazing group exhibition of co-created sculptures under the banner of Fusion 2 is currently on display at Asia Society, as mentioned before, and we do encourage you to come see it and experience it for yourself before the show closes on June 25th. So come any day except Monday when the gallery is closed. We're open 11 a.m. till 6 p.m. No admission fee required, no prior booking necessary. We look forward to meeting you and hearing what you think of the artworks, so beautifully created by the two people we have heard from today. So thank you both for your time. It's been such a pleasure to speak to you and relive those moments of artistic creation. Thank you, Francesca, and thank you, Danny. And I hope we have a chance to meet again soon. So thank you all for listening. Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.